You know, I tell my employees every day, if we're not having fun, the guests can't have fun. And that's what they're here for. If we're laughing and having a good time, it translates.
Welcome to Opportunity Knocks. I'm your host, Todd Patton, and I got a special one today. I drove the Sprinter. 5 minutes ago, I pulled into this incredible restaurant. We've all heard of it, Runyon's. And in the Sprinter with me is my man, Kevin O'Connor.
How we doing, Todd?
Great to have you here, my man.
Thanks for having us, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you.
You got it, man. You know, I was actually driving here on the way here, and I'm thinking, you know, how do I describe Runyon's? How would I like prep to say this? And tell me how I do with this. I had a good friend, Scotty Gershoff. You know, Scotty says,
Very well.
He says, TP, this is what it is. And he laid it out perfect. He said, there's no other restaurant or bar that has that where customer service is a top priority. You go there and literally it feels like you're at home. You know, we know the bartenders, we know the waits. It's really like a home feeling. So first off, hats off to you for building that culture, and I want to hear about how you got started though. So tell me, take me back to
Runyon's. I can't take credit for starting Runyon's. Runyon's was built by my in-laws, Jack and Valerie O'Connell. They opened October 9th in 1984, and he built an amazing place, you know. And back in the late 80s, early 90s, I mean, this place was 5 deep at the bar every Wednesday night and almost every day of the week, and it was wild out here. You know, this place was rocking. We had the Honda Classic in town, which brought a lot of celebrities and a lot of sportscasters in over the years. And I started coming here with my family in 1986 when we moved from Wisconsin to Coral Springs. And
wow,
my family did all their events here, and my sister's rehearsal dinner was here. Uncountable birthdays and
who would
other
have
things,
thought
you know?
back then to think where it's at.
It's
awesome.
so crazy how life unfolds.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things where, you know, my parents back when I was a kid, I mean, Jack and Valerie, my now in-laws, were my next door neighbors for the last 30 years. You know, so at 17, I walked in here and asked for a job, started bussing tables, and moved through the kitchen and behind the bar. And I left, got into front of house managing at other restaurants around Broward County. And around 2006, I found my way back to Runyon's as Joe's assistant manager at the time. Our general manager, Joe Kelleher, has been here with us 34 or 35 of these 40 years, maybe even 36 of them. He'll clarify that, but
that's amazing. So you that's crazy. Yeah. I did not know that story.
It's wild, and I actually came back here in 06, and that's when my wife and I now met again. We were married in 09. I left again in 09, thinking I wanted a normal job where I was off on the weekends, and just doesn't fit my personality or me or my energy level, you know. So came back as the bartender here, and I was on the verge of opening a place with a buddy of mine from high school that's a chef locally, and
in Coral Springs, or you were going to open
Broward County. Yeah,
you were going to open somewhere in Broward.
Yeah, and nothing like Runyon's by any means, but
a bar,
a bar and restaurant. Yeah. You know, and
how did this opportunity fall on you?
Well, it was something I was chasing for forever, you know, and
because at this time you were married recently, right?
I was married recently and wanting to do, you know, more. I need to, you know, you need to figure out a way to set yourself up, right? And we started to look at a couple leases of a couple properties, and my father-in-law walked in one day while I was setting up the bar, and he says to me, "What if I sold you a piece of the business?" And I said, maybe, you know, kind of. We hemmed and hawed about it back and forth. And at the end of the day, you know, being roughly newlyweds, a couple years in now, I didn't think mixing that with the drastic ideas and what I wanted to do and the changes I wanted to make, you know. But when I say changes, when you walk into Runyon's, and if you knew it prior to, you walk in and you remember the place that it was.
Starting with the light.
Yeah, and it's just one of those places that it's home. You know, every one of us spend more time there than we do at home, and that's the way it should feel. You know?
And that's culture. I mean, that's ultimately what it is. It's really difficult. I give you so much credit, but to take an established brand and make it better, it's almost like in a sports franchise when somebody buys, the Yankees, and then how do you grow on it? And you've done a phenomenal job of that. That's not easy.
Yeah, I hear you, and I appreciate that. But again, it's the staff that's here. You know, Joe, my general manager, is, I always call him Oz. He's the wizard behind the curtain that does everything. You know, he's the one putting in all the hard time. So it's a joint effort, but they make me look good.
Yeah.
You know, and they do a great job of making me look good.
I love that you've done it all, from busboy to and I didn't know you were a bartender.
Oh yeah.
We might have to have you make a drink. Let's see if you still have it.
Oh, I still got it.
Still got it?
Yeah. Rico will tell you I still got it too.
Speaking of Rico,
Wow.
and it's each staff person. I mean, you have somebody here. You were telling me earlier, 36.
Yeah, Sherry Cross.
Sherry.
She was the first waitress my father-in-law hired before the doors were opened, and she is still waiting tables for us. You know, this is, next to my mother, I think she absolutely is the strongest woman I've ever met in my life. She's just an incredible lady.
That's amazing, and it tells you something though that like, to your point of making sure that it's staff first. They're part of the team. It's not they're not an employee. It's funny. I had Bruno on from Lavello, and Bruno said, "I hate the word chef," and I said, "Why?" And he goes, "Because I'm not above anybody."
Yeah.
And he said it so, and you have that same.
A lot of there's always a lot of talk for guests asking, about the chef and who's back there if the chef's off, right? It's like, well, you guys got to understand the chef is the manager, right? And the manager is the one writing the schedule, ordering the food, making sure everything is right and tastes right and does it. But we have a set of line cooks that and prep cooks and pantry dessert people that put the show on for us, So at the end of the day, they're not employees, they're the ones who make this place go,
It's great, man. We're gonna take a look behind the kitchen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna go inside the kitchen. We're gonna look at everything, and I can't wait for that, just to see kind of how some of the staff back there that's working, because you're right, they don't get a lot of the exposure, of the bartenders, and people are going to know, Rico's face, but there's a lot behind the scenes, and we're going to see that.
No doubt about it.
And recognize them. That's an important.
One thing about Rico and the bar, especially, that I learned the 6 years that I was back there and bartended other places. That's as close to show business as I could ever get. I mean, because no matter what, the show's got to go on. No matter what's going on in your life or going on that day at the restaurant, the show's got to go on, and you're the one on top of the water. You're the swan on top of the water, while everybody in the kitchen is all the commotion and craziness underneath. So it's it's a dance, and it's fun. It's a fun business if you let it be.
Yeah.
But
or you can let it get the worst of you, which a lot of people do.
Without a doubt, because it's tough. It's stressful, man.
Sure. You mentioned it. So the business has been here 36?
39 years.
39 years.
Yep, this October 9th will be 40 years.
That's a big anniversary.
Oh, yeah.
What do we have planned?
Oh, we got stuff in the works yet. I'm not able to disclose that yet, but we're going to be throwing a party for our 40th. There's no doubt about it.
Sweet. So, anything that you can tip us off on, as far as, obviously, I would say the stability. It's you're going to get a good meal. It's very, and that's nice to know when you go to a restaurant like Runyon's. It's consistency. You're going to get the drink wise is, oh my gosh. There's no bars like that have a real bartender that knows how to make drinks. I love that.
That's really what makes us different, and I think that goes back to what you were talking about the culture of the place, and these, like I said, they're not just employees. I mean, they care about it as much as I do, and you see it when you see the effort they put in and the care they take to make sure everything is right, Now, are we perfect? No, not by any means, but nobody is, and we do the best we can. I also remind my employees we're not saving lives here.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
so
right.
take it easy.
We're having a drink and we're making,
having a
and
good
if somebody's
time.
complaining about a burnt something, hey,
They have a valid point.
Yeah,
They're coming.
sure.
It should be right, without a doubt. But we're not saving lives,
That's
so
right.
take it easy and
That's
let
right.
it roll off your back. This stuff isn't personal.
you know? That's interesting because typically, at least the perception that I see of restaurant, owners and managers, people in that, chefs especially, is a very, that Gordon Ramsay kind of screaming in your face. And what I'm feeling is you're the opposite of that. You're very, hey, I'm on your team and laid back, but business is business.
No doubt about it. And don't get me wrong. As a manager, I thought I knew how to do that, but once I became the owner of the business, it became a whole different animal, and I had to learn how to calm myself down and not be that crazy person in the expediting window yelling at everybody and demanding what had to be next and don't touch another thing until this is plated, And I'm sure I drove a couple good employees away over the years, but those first few years were intense and crazy. And
was that COVID time?
No, well, it was just before, so I had
So right after.
So then, right when I started to get myself together, COVID came, and that really taught me how to
deal with adversity,
and to understand that things are going to happen the way they happen, and you can do the best you can do, and it's going to work out.
Amazing. So let's tell the guests here, anybody who's listening, it's never been to Runyon. I don't know if anybody. I think everybody has, but let's just say there's somebody that hasn't been here. They pull in. And obviously, a Friday, Saturday night is incredible. The energy, you got music playing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's amazing. But what's your go-to dish? And I know it's hard. You told me meatloaf. That's your favorite.
It's one of my top 5. There's no doubt about it. But I think my go-to, if you were to blindly ask anybody in there what my favorite meal is, it's going to be a chicken franchise. And it's kind of off what we normally are known for with our prime rib and our steaks and seafood. But I think our chicken franchise is better than anybody else, And
Awesome.
It's one of those things that lunch or dinner, I could eat that every day as one of my meals.
I don't know where you guys get your shrimp from, but that shrimp prosciutto that's my favorite. That's a must. Every time I come, I have to have that, and usually a steak chopped up. I like doing tapas here, like sharing
everything. Yeah. Because slicing up a cowboy ribeye and a few shrimp caparelli, and starting off with an onion soup
and escargot. Not a lot of places have escargot.
Yeah, and our escargot, I'll hold it up to anywhere in the world, no doubt about it. I think our garlic butter, our Runyon signature garlic butter there's nothing better.
And so, menu wise, how does that walk me through the process of? I mean, consistencies. We're talking about these meals that have been around for a good amount of time. Do you ever say, the creative side of you say, you know what, I want to try this, whether it's a fish or something? How does that work?
Yes, we definitely do that. It's something that I more just throw real broad ideas out to the chef, and we have a conversation about it, and then I let them take that. I let Marcelo take his creative side and run with it, So, like, for instance, we had been talking about a steak dish, and he had done. I'm gonna forget it now off the cuff here, but it was some sort of a blackberry sauce or something with a steak, and I was like, I don't know about that, I just didn't feel it.
Was it like a skirt or like a fillet or?
I think it was a New York strip that we did with it, and it was something that he was like, trust me, because just hearing about it, talking about it, I was
berry,
like,
it's like, no.
I'm like, I don't know how that's gonna meld, but
let him go with it.
I let him go with it. We tried it obviously before we ran it, and he hit a home run, and those are the things that's really how it happens.
And how often do those dishes that are the special type things? Is it once a month? Is it every week?
We're changing that special sheet usually every 2 days. So what we do is we order the fish and some of the meats, and some of the things we run are things we have in house that we create a sauce for, or those things. But anything that we bring in house, we have enough to get us through a night, is what we hope. So that way, the next morning we're getting more. We're getting additional seafood and that kind of thing.
Now, speaking of seafood, you've never done sushi, right?
We have done some in the past, not
Really?
not with the current chef, but yeah, we have done a couple different things that were interesting, you know, and they worked for us, but it was a good stretch.
Now, if we flip this side to the bar, there you get creative. Because I mean, I've seen Rico throw some things together. It's like, man, it's so good. He's a magician.
He's
got a skill.
He's got a talent, man.
Yeah.
It's a God-given thing, you know. It's
I like Showtime. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah,
you know, the glasses sideways.
Oh,
he
yeah.
just turns into.
Well, he knows how to be the character.
That's right.
There's no doubt about it, you know. But on the other hand, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
You know, back there as the business as well.
That's right.
You know, he's the one that does our ordering for the liquors. He's you know, I started off when I first bought the restaurant as trying to be everything, right? And I was doing the bar program and doing everything and trying to make it all work. And I think that's kind of where I went nuts. So you let some people handle some stuff. You know, I was taught by my dad who ran a garbage company. You know, I asked him, how do you manage 28,000 employees? You know, he goes, you don't. You rely on the people you put in place to
leadership
to do that, and you surround yourself with good people.
The Joes, the Ricos,
exactly. Marcellos, the Sherrys. You surround yourself with great people, and you can do great things.
How is that, like, obviously, you know, going from your father-in-law, Jack, owning this and building this restaurant, and then the day that you bought it, I mean, you knew the staff and stuff, so it's not like you're going in cold, but that meeting that you had with them to get that had to be nerve-wracking. Like, wait, what am I going to say? How do I describe to them that I'm now taking over and I'm in charge? And I could tell you're probably not going to say I'm taking over, I'm in charge, because I could tell your personality. But that had to be
you know, I think it gives me the chills a little bit. You know, the first time I sat down with everybody as, you know, my wife and I's staff, right? And I think the number one thing I told them is, all of you are allowing me to live my dream of owning a restaurant.
That's awesome.
You know?
Oh, that's cool.
And it gives me the chills right on hair standing up on the back of my neck. You know, it's incredible.
You got passion, Kevin. I love it, man. I mean, I feel it just when you walked into Sprinter. Obviously, when we walk into, and that shows why you have this establishment that is a special place. Speaking of special, you know, there was a little controversy, I guess, online and stuff, and the people in Coral Springs, they came
Coral
to Runyon
Springs and Parkland, man.
It was unbelievable seeing that.
They rushed to our defense, man.
The pictures that were posted, and I was like, man, this is awesome.
It was wild. You know,
it's gotta feel good knowing that usually it's the restaurants chasing the customer. Now it's the customer saying, you know what, we got your back.
You know,
it
was one of those things where I thought about responding, you know, through the business Facebook page, because that's where all this stuff took place. And I slept on it overnight, and I thought, you know what? And then about 3 o'clock that next day, all the stuff happening on Facebook from the community coming to our defense and rallying around us,
and then showing up here, right? I mean,
absolutely.
you probably had record weeks.
I mean, it was a great week that week. There's no doubt about it, man. You know, but I still can't get over that that thing on Facebook got so much traction. People were making memes about it, and I'm like, who are we? You know?
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing. It's really amazing.
Man. It goes to show that the community is the word that you built here. It's not just a restaurant, and obviously Cheers has that famous line, you know, and it really is that feel here that it's family.
I have so many customers and so many guests that say it. I mean, this is their Cheers, you know?
For sure.
You come in there, you can be flying, you know, solo, and the family's out of town, and you can walk in here and you're going to know somebody to be able to sit down, have dinner, and have a good time. You know?
And laugh.
And no doubt about it.
Have fun.
Yeah.
And the music is unbelievable. That piano, I mean, every person you have when I've been here, it's always like, man, these guys deliver. They're good. This is like Vegas type of.
They are good, man. We've been blessed with good people. You know, a few of the guys like John Boyko has worked here off and on since the early '90s. You know, and he's here Tuesdays and Thursday nights. Larry Brendler's now been with us about 4 years, I would say, maybe even a little longer. I'm sorry if I'm wrong.
John's tonight. He's here.
John is here tonight.
Sweet.
And Larry's here on Tuesdays and Fridays, and I have David John on Wednesdays. You know?
Amazing. Well, man, I'm ready to go inside and get behind, talk to this Rico character. I can't wait. I can't wait to put him on camera. That guy belongs on camera, man. I mean, and he. I want you to walk ahead of me. I want those glasses sideways. You know, I love it, man. That's his trademark. But Kevin, thank you so much, brother.
Absolutely,
really
man.
appreciate you, man.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks
Todd.
for everything you've done for the community. You know, you guys are a staple here, and you know, you should be really proud of everything you've done and your staff and the team that you've kept motivated. So let's go inside and check out some food and drinks.
Let's do it.
All right, my man.